Okay, so this video is all about the 5D process. And the 5D process is a problem-solving tool that we use to help organize information and solve word problems that might have a lot of steps to them. It's a helpful process to learn before writing and solving equations based on word problems. So that's our end goal. But before we get there, we need kind of a system to get us started thinking algebraically when we look at these word problems. So my example is a scalene triangle has 3 unequal side lengths. The medium side length is 7 centimeters longer than the shortest side length. The longest side is twice as long as the shortest side. The total perimeter is 39 centimeters. What are the lengths of the sides of the triangle? So I always like to start by highlighting some of the important information. So it's a scalene triangle, 3 unequal side lengths. Medium side is 7 centimeters longer than the shortest side. Longest side is twice as long as the shortest side. Perimeter is 39. And then we always should know what the question is as well. So what are the lengths of the sides of the triangle? So for this one, I think I'm going to draw a triangle, a scalene triangle, as best as I can. Now, this may be nothing like what my triangle looks like, and maybe I'll even do so we can see very clearly which side is the shortest, medium, long. Okay, so since they did use the language shortest, medium, length, longest, I'm going to use short, medium, and long as my labels for these triangles. So this is my shortest side, this is my medium, and this is my long. And now they gave us the information that the medium side length is 7 centimeters longer than the short. So to get the medium, I'm going to do the short and add 7. And then for the long side, it says it's twice as long as the short. So 2 times the short, or 2s. And we don't have any other information about the short side. What we do know is that the perimeter is 39, and we need to know what are the side lengths. There we go. So when it's the describe and draw section, sometimes you might want to draw a picture. So if it's something with perimeter and area, a picture is often really helpful. Some word problems don't do very well with a picture, but this one does. So I thought a picture would be, or a diagram of the situation would be a good idea. And then sometimes you just need to explain it in words, but you need the most important information. So often word problems will give you filler information, things that you don't really need to know to solve the problem. So this is kind of the first step in figuring out what exactly do you need to know, what is not important. So my important information is all in my describe and draw section. Everything I need to know is in there. So now I'm going to move on to the define. So we have define, do, and decide. So in my define section, that is where I'm going to figure out my 3 sides. So since I have 3 sides, I'm going to divide this into 3 sections. Where it's labeled with the trials is kind of unimportant. I could fit more than just those 3 in there, and I might need more than 3, and that's okay. So I'm going to have my 3 sides labeled. I'm going to have my short, my medium, and my long. And I am someone who definitely needs to see how I got those. So what am I going to do to get my medium and my long? And for my medium, I know I'm going to add the small plus 7. And for the long, I'm doing 2 times the small. So having that information in the define is really important, especially if somebody who is not familiar with the problem was to come and look at your work. You would want them to be able to see, well, they got the medium by adding 7, and they got the long by doing 2 times the short, right? So we want to have that information. So I'm going to start and just make a guess. And my guess is going to be 5. I think the shortest length is going to be 5. So then to get the medium, I do 5 plus 7, and I get 12. And then to get my long, I do 2 times 5, and I get 10. And now my do is what I'm actually going to be doing to check to see if my answer is correct. And in this case, it is to find the perimeter. So my perimeter is adding my 3 sides, so I have 5 plus 12 plus 10. And 5 plus 12 is 17, plus 10 is 27. So the next part is to decide. Did I get 39 as my perimeter? No, I didn't. My answer is too small. And having this too small or too big is kind of a nice way to help you start thinking about what your next step is going to be. So my answer of 5 was too small. So what if I tried maybe 10 next? So now to get my medium, I'm going to do 10 plus 7, and I get 17. And then 2 times 10 is 20. And I add again, so 10 plus 17 plus 20. And I get 30, 47. Now I decide, is it too small or too big? And I'm going to say it's too big now. So my answer has to be somewhere between 5 and 10. 5 was too small, 10 is too big. It's somewhere kind of in the middle. 7.5 would get me exactly 37, right? Because that's midway between 5 and 10. It's a little bit more than that. So I'm thinking 8 is going to be the number. So now I have 8 plus 7, and I get 15. And then I do 2 times 8, which is 16. And then I do 8 plus 15 plus 16. 15 plus 16 is 31. 31 plus 8 is 39. So I've got it. All right, and the last part of the 5D process is to declare. So this is where you're writing your answer, and you're writing that answer in a complete sentence. And the answer should, see if I can put a text box on that. No, okay. The answer should be written in a complete sentence, and it should answer every part of the problem. So my question is, what are the side lengths? So that means I need to give the small, the medium, and the large side length. Now you don't have to make this super wordy. You can just answer the question, but it should be in a complete sentence. So I could say the short side is 8, and I believe we were working in centimeters, yes. 8 centimeters. The medium side is 15 centimeters. And the long side is 16 centimeters. I've answered it. I have all 3 sides in there, short, medium, and long. I have labels. I started with a capital letter, ended with a period. I've got a complete sentence. I've got all of the information I need. And I've got my answer. So this, again, is the 5D process. We have describe and draw, define, do, decide, and declare. And it is just an organizational tool to help us solve some word problems. Anybody coming in without seeing the question should be able to follow my work, follow how I got my answer, and they should know exactly what the question was about.